Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 7, and today we're taking a look at the Samsung QLED TV car pack. And yeah, this was supposedly supposed to be out on Tuesday the 7th of November, but for whatever reason I haven't been able to buy, or well not buy, download all the cars and try them out and upgrade them, etc., and even buy them again if I wanted to. So yeah, for whatever reason I'm able to try them out, but nonetheless, yeah, I'm gonna review 3 of the cars out of this car pack properly in their own video on Tuesday, and they're going to be this Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, the Maserati 250F, and the Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. So I'm not going to touch them today, just going to quickly look at them and show you the stats. So yeah, pretty good handling and braking on this Alfa. Really rather decent speed and acceleration as well. It's the only rear-wheel drive version. It's not the all-wheel drive version that is also out there. But yeah, it's got a decent amount of power, 506 horsepower, 442 pounds-feet of torque from its 2.9 litre twin turbocharged V6, and it weighs 3,822 pounds. So not the most powerful saloon car ever, but it's fairly decent to drive and it looks pretty good as well. So yeah, can't wait to do a full review on that. And then yeah, we've also got the Fiat, if this laggy car list doesn't slow us all down. So yeah, Fiat's first proper convertible sports car for a very long time, I think, and based on the Mazda MX-5. So yeah, 165 horsepower, 184 pounds-feet of torque from my inline 4 turbocharged engine. Weighs only 2,477 pounds, so extremely light. It's following from the likes of Alfa Romeo with their philosophy of going for lightweight cars with plenty of power. So yeah, another nice new addition to this series. And then we've also got the Maserati 250F, which is really rather weird, quite frankly, because I was after more open wheel cars from the 50s that I said in a previous episode of my playthrough. But yeah, incredibly pleased that this car's in the game. Got a 2.5 litre V12 engine, 315 horsepower, 221 pounds-feet of torque, and it only weighs 1,668 pounds. And yeah, absolute screamer in terms of acceleration, and yeah, really rather fun car to drive. So yeah, let's go out there onto the track and have a look at the first car of 4 that we're going to actually drive out onto the track. So yeah, see you when we get there. So this is the first car we're taking a look at, the 2015 Honda Ridgeline Baja trophy truck. And yeah, it's got 550 horsepower, 470 pounds-feet of torque from a 3.5 litre twin turbocharged V6 engine, which is somewhere in the middle there. Don't know why I took the front off. For some reason I thought it was going to be in the front. But yeah, it's a fairly large truck, as you can see, and yeah, it's only rear-wheel drive like a lot of the trophy trucks on this game. I think all of them are, to be honest. And yeah, it's really no different to any other trophy truck, quite frankly. Yeah, it's not got a massive engine in it or whatever, anything like that, but that's the only real difference. So yeah, let's take it out to the Suzuka circuit that we're on for one lap and see what it can do. So yeah, it's the same kind of problem that I have with other trophy trucks on this game, quite frankly. I just really don't see the point on a game like this, because they're made for off-roading, made for going quick on any kind of surface that they can go on, and yeah, it just seems like a taking up car less space for a car that really isn't suitable for these kind of tracks. I am all for variety, don't get me wrong, but these kind of vehicles just do not seem to fit in this kind of game. Perfectly reasonable to be on something like Forza Horizon 3, but here I just really don't see the point, quite frankly. Unless obviously they release an expansion for this game where we have rallycross circuits or trophy truck stadium circuits or anything like that, then yeah, I'll be perfectly happy having these vehicles in here. But as it stands, I just really do not see the point. But it's a decent vehicle nonetheless. Got a fairly hefty amount of power, and it doesn't weigh as much as some trophy trucks on this game, at only 4,700 pounds. And as a result, it can do 0 to 60 in, oh dear, I apologise, not driven much of this truck. Can do 0 to 60 in 4.882 seconds, 0 to 100 in 11.063 seconds, going on to top speed of 157 miles an hour, which isn't too bad, but yeah, just really don't see the point of him on this game, quite frankly. It seems like wasted space. There's a lot more vehicles out there that I'm sure plenty of people would like to see on this game, and I don't think trophy trucks are really up there on that kind of want list, quite frankly. But it does add a bit of variety, and if they do release an expansion where we have, you know, autocross or trophy truck stadium circuits, etc., then I'll take everything back that I've just said about them being on this game. But as it stands, it does seem a bit like a waste. So yeah, let's move on to the next car that we're going to be taking a look at. And this is the next vehicle, the 1984 Nissan number 20 Coca-Cola Bluebird Super Silhouette. So yeah, Japanese racing car from the 80s basically, and yeah, it's a pretty weird looking thing, especially considering the Bluebird back then was hardly the most rounded car ever, so it's a lot of angles with a few sweeping elements. But it's got a fair decent amount of power, quite frankly. 562 horsepower, 397 pounds-feet of torque, and it weighs only 2,205 pounds, which is extremely light. And yeah, as a result, it's pretty quick in terms of acceleration, and obviously the faster you go, the more downforce you have with all those splitters and, you know, side skirts and spoilers, etc., and the fact that it's much wider than the standard car is. And yeah, obviously stripped out in terms of interior. Really isn't much left in here outside of the stuff that you really need. You can see the firewall on it, everything, etc. So yeah, very stripped out car, extremely race orientated. So yeah, we're at Baja first, so let's take it out there and see what it can do. Now this is probably a weird thing to ask for, but I would like more 80s cars from Japan, or Asia in general, because there really aren't all that many. And there's certainly more out there to try out, quite frankly. Maybe not as kind of cars that are as quick as this, but certainly plenty out there. So yeah, pretty quick car. Handles extremely well, as you'd expect with all these aerodynamic tweaks to it. It's fairly quick as well. 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. 0 to 100, 7.3. And going to a top speed of 186 miles an hour, which is actually quicker than I was thinking it would be, to be honest, considering how much aerodynamics it has going on to push the car down as far as possible and give it as much grip as possible. So yeah, fairly decent car, quite frankly. Again, I'm not really into racing cars in general on this game, which I know is probably weird to say considering this is a racing game, but I'm more into my stock cars, which, you know, I'd prefer a standard Bluebird, or at least the highest spec version of the original road car. But, you know, adds variety having these racing cars in here, and I know plenty of people do like these kind of racing vehicles on this game. So I'm perfectly happy with that. I've got at least 2 road cars that I'm happy with on this car pack, and that's the Maserati, which is a racing car, but it's something I can enjoy far more just because of how ridiculous those kind of vehicles are. But this is still good. It's still got plenty of power, plenty of acceleration, decent high rate of speed. It handles really rather well, and I can imagine if they put more vehicles from whatever group of racing this car was involved in, have some fairly decent races going on. Not sure whether or not we have other cars that this car raced against in this game, but that's always something that they can put in future car packs, or even a future expansion, because if there are actual expansions, well, it would be nice if there were. Certainly it would help certain cars that are on this game that don't have certain, you know, elements going through. But this is a perfectly reasonable car, and yeah, another classic racing car to add to this this game's already wide scope of cars on here. So yeah, thoroughly glad that this is on the game, even if it's not a car I'm going to use all that much. So yeah, let's take a look at the next vehicle. And this is the next vehicle, the 1978 Porsche number 78 MOMO 935/78. Now, despite this being a racing car, I can fully get behind this just because of how insane it is. And not just in terms of a car from 1978, in terms of cars today, quite frankly. Because, yeah, got a huge amount of power, 845 horsepower, 578 pounds-feet of torque from a 3.2 litre turbocharged flat 6 engine. And the car itself weighs a mere 2,260 pounds, so yeah, incredible amount of power, quite frankly, from a car from 1978. And yeah, it's able to take full advantage of that thanks to the aerodynamics and the general handling of the vehicle. Let's just take a look underneath of the front, so you can see the kind of stuff that it's got going on here. Fuel tank, all the usual kind of accompaniments, or your fluids, etc. So yeah, this car was highly successful in Le Mans racing, which is why we're at Le Mans on the old circuit with the big long straight, and that's for a perfectly reasonable reason. So yeah, to see what this car's capable of, let's take it out there and see what it can do. Now, this car is affectionately called the Moby Dick because it's got a big whale tail at the back. And quite frankly, this is as, you know, exciting to drive as it is to see a whale in real life, quite frankly, because, yeah, incredibly quick, as you can see. That's not just in terms of today's cars. Imagine what this car will be like to see in 1978, because it's fast, to say the least. I can't imagine being the first person to ever drive one of these things at speed, because, yeah, rip your neck off, quite frankly. And yeah, that's kind of supported by the acceleration times, 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, 0 to 105.4 seconds, and as you'll see soon, goes on to a top speed of 228 miles an hour, which is incredibly quick. This, quite frankly, in terms of acceleration, rivals the Porsche 918, sorry, yeah, the 918 Spider. You know, the all-wheel drive hybrid V8 vehicle that they only released a few years ago. So yeah, incredibly quick, incredibly powerful, got a huge amount of top speed, especially for a car, like I said, got that big whale tail at the back. And yeah, in 4th gear doing this kind of speed is quite frankly insane. And yeah, it's these kind of racing vehicles that I can get behind, just purely based on how insane that they are. It's all well and good having something like that Bluebird, which is decently quick, decent amount of power, etc. But when you've got something that's got nearly 900 horsepower and can do more quicker in terms of top speed than most modern hypercars or supercars, it's yeah, really rather an interesting vehicle to try out and look at. So I'm really glad to put it in the game, quite frankly. Even though this circuit doesn't overly show off how good a car is at handling, it does handle really rather well. And obviously the faster you go, the better handling it has, because the aerodynamics and the downforce are working in your favour. So yeah, car I'm glad that they put in. We don't have enough older Porsches racing cars, quite frankly, especially in terms of the cars that are as insane as this. But hopefully they do start to put more road cars in this game, because obviously, oh dear, I do apologise for that, because obviously if you include the likes of this, the Nissan Bluebird and the Honda Ridgeline and the Maserati, that means that we've effectively had 4 racing cars in a car pack, which, you know, I'm all for racing cars, but, you know, there are far more road cars out there that we've never had on the game than there are racing cars, quite frankly. I would like more of them to be on my car pack, but we've got plenty more car packs to go, obviously, and you know, that's just in terms of the season pass. Obviously, if we've got to get expansions and car packs after the season pass coming out, then we've obviously got plenty more cars to look forward to. I just would like them to more focus towards road cars. Yeah, have 1 or 2 racing cars in a car pack, but make it mostly road cars that we've yet to have on the Forza game, and I'll be a lot happier. But this car pack in general is pretty decent. We've still got 1 more car to look at, obviously, but overall it is a decent car pack, but there are improvements to be made, and hopefully each car pack gets better in time, one after the other, quite frankly. But this is a solid start to the game with the car packs, and yeah, looking forward to seeing what else they've got to go in the future, because obviously we've got several more months of these to come out. So yeah, but this Porsche, cracking vehicle, absolutely insane to drive, insane amount of speed and acceleration, and yeah, a car I never heard of before. And yeah, one reason why I like car packs is because they usually introduce me to vehicles I've never heard of before, and this Porsche is one of those. So yeah, glad it's in the game now. Anyway, let's take a look at the final vehicle in this car pack. And this is the final vehicle, the 2016 Toyota Land Cruiser Arctic Trucks AT37. So yeah, obviously Toyotas aren't allowed in this game in their stock form because of licensing issues, which is a great shame, which is probably one reason why they've put this in, to make up for probably a normal Land Cruiser that we're going to put in. But this is fairly decent. It's a lot like the Toyota pickup that we've already got in the game, and yeah, it's pretty much the same in terms of kind of power and speed, quite frankly, because it's only got 161 horsepower and 253 pounds-feet of torque, and it weighs 4,993 pounds. So yeah, not much power whatsoever there, which obviously means it's not the quickest of vehicles, especially when you combine it with the weight. But it's a you know, interesting vehicle, obviously, because you know it's raised up, it's got those big tyres on it. But again, like that Honda trophy truck, it begs the question, why put a vehicle like this in when you've got no off-road circuits or off-road courses to go on? And yeah, just again, just seems like a bit of a waste of space, quite frankly, being in. I'm all for a normal kind of Land Cruiser being in the game. I've always wanted one of the 90s ones with that big 4-litre V8, I think it is, in the car. But something like this just seems a bit out of place, quite frankly. But nonetheless, we're going to take it out onto the Top Gear track for one lap and see what it can do. So yeah, being the big vehicle that it is with very little power, it's not going to be the quickest vehicle, so don't expect, you know, a quick lap on this track. Then again, obviously this vehicle is not meant for speed, not meant for high top speed, you know, because it's meant to, you know, get you over whatever you surface that you're on as reliably as possible, more than as quickly as possible. So yeah, a little bit slow, to say the least. Though obviously not the slowest vehicle in the game, but you won't find very many cars that are slower than this, quite frankly. But that just means that we have room for upgrades, quite frankly. And I definitely will be doing an extreme power no handling video on this vehicle, because it's kind of perfect setup for it, quite frankly. All-wheel drive, but not much power from stock, so it'll be interesting to see what it can do with a whole load of extra power. But as it stands, the acceleration times are slow as they are stock-wise. 0 to 60, 13.250 seconds. 0 to 148.070 seconds, going on to a top speed of 110 miles an hour. So yeah, not brilliant at all. But like I said, it's not meant to be going quick, it's just meant to get you over whatever you're travelling in as reliably and as smoothly as possible. Which again begs the question, why put this vehicle in this game at all? It's really not, you know, something that's going to rip up the track. But then again, I am a fan of slow cars in general, but slow cars with character, this does not have all that much character to it, so definitely deserves an upgrade, and definitely one I'd recommend giving an upgrade, because you're not going to have much enjoyment out of it in stock form, that's for sure. That's from someone that generally likes stock vehicles like that are slow. But yeah, decent vehicle, but again, like the Honda Ridgeline, not a vehicle that I see having much purpose in this vehicle in this game. But a generally solid car pack. I really like the Alfa Romeo, which I'll be doing a review on, as well as the Maserati. The Fiat is fairly decent, which I'll also get a review of its own. And I really like that Porsche, just for how insane it is. So, fairly decent car pack, but certainly not the best car pack we've ever had in a Forza game. And hopefully there will be better to come. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.